It probably looks like I've figured out the ideal position for the camera for making these videos, but not really. Uh, because to be where I am to shoot this, I'm kneeling on the mattress on the bed, and I got a really fucked up knee. I got a really fucked up knee, so this is weirdly uncomfortable. That's the mattress. So no, I mean I don't know. I don't know. At least it's framed well for once, and maybe the sound will work okay. Oh, I have riled the cats by bouncing the mattress. Hello, Zoe. Zoe, do you want to get up there? Okay. Try to stop the mattress creaking. Reposition. Hello. Hi, folks at home. I am not doing much of anything. Holding on for dear life in the face of, as you call it, depression. But I am trying to keep up with watching movies as per the plan, like a drowning man clings to a stick. So last night I watched part of two movies. One of them was really good. I really like it. One of them not so much, but it's worth talking about because it's interesting. First one, the movie that I think is just basically a failure, but an interesting failure, is an Amicus production. That's British, a small British company that did mostly horror movies, and mostly now they're remembered for a series of anthology horror movies that sometimes are really good bad movies, I guess is the way to put it. Freddie Francis directed a number of them. He directed this one. Francis is best remembered as a cinematographer. He shot, among other things, The Elephant Man for David Lynch. The stuff he did for Amicus is weirdly, and I think he did some directing for Hammer too, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe. I didn't look this up. Anyway, he directed a number of these anthology pictures for Amicus and Milton Subotsky, and they're horror short stories with ridiculous frame device, is how these movies work. Asylum is another one. Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. I know Freddie Francis directed that one. And Robert Bloch wrote the screenplay for Asylum. Robert Bloch also wrote this one, Torture Garden. I had never seen Torture Garden with Burgess Meredith. I think it's weak compared to the other ones. But Freddie Francis is such a really clever and creative cinematographer and director that it's a pleasure to watch anything he did on technical grounds. It's just a pleasure to watch his process unfold, even on second and third string movies. Though I would recommend Dr. Terror's House of Horrors first. I don't know if Robert Bloch wrote that one. Robert Bloch was a magazine-era horror writer who is best remembered now for writing the novel Psycho that Alfred Hitchcock adapted in the very famous movie. His stuff is more like Rod Serling Night Gallery type, Richard Matheson type of thing normally. And these movies show that. I don't know exactly how Robert Bloch managed to transition Psycho, being a famous movie, into writing scripts for British movies. I think Bloch was a Los Angelian, but there's a story there. I don't know it. In any case, all these movies are kind of interesting. I would watch Asylum and Dr. Terror's House of Horrors before I watch Torture Garden, though. It's always cool to see Burgess Meredith be a creepy villain. He did it in other pictures too. This one's just not very distinguished. It's boring. The other movie I watched last night, I'd actually seen a couple of times before. I managed to completely forget it existed. It's called Brides of Blood. When I saw it, it was part of I don't know, it was a box set or a series of DVDs re-releasing these movies as the Blood Island series. I want to say there were 4 of them. They're Filipino horror movies directed by Eddie Romero, who probably should be better known than he is for making really fun, bad movies. Brides of Blood, the premise is that there's this remote island, and the island villagers are being terrorized by a number of monstrous mutations caused by nearby above ground nuclear testing in the 40s. This movie was made in 1968, Torture Garden 67. Brides of Blood is crazy. Like that, I've seen it multiple times and I'd forgotten it existed. Seems weird, and it's true. I was drinking heavily and taking a lot of acid in those days in the early zeros when these movies came out on DVD. But they're crazy. Like they feel hallucinated while you're watching them. They have a weird thing for sexual sadism that's not particularly pronounced. It's 1968. For 1968, it's ferocious. The monster stuff, there's like a rapey man monster thing, and there are these plants and vines that come to life and attack people, like multiple plants and vines. There's a there's a butterfly, maybe it's a moth. I don't know. It's made of. I mean, it's not a real butterfly or a real moth, but it attacks people, and this is the first half. Like I got tired and fell asleep halfway through last night. I gotta finish watching it, but I've seen it before. Truth be told, I'm not sure I've ever seen the end of it. It's like House of Leaves, infinite. A deeply strange and really fun bad movie, as are a lot of Eddie Romero's movies. And as I recall, this isn't even the weirdest one in the series, but I really don't recall. Like, I just barely remember these movies at all. When it turned up again, I vaguely recalled the title, Brides of Blood, and then when I started watching it, I was like, oh, this movie. I remember this movie. It's, I mean, it was 20 years ago. I'm getting old. Almost done. Gotta be almost done by now. Anyway, that's what I did last night. Watched Torture Garden and half of Brides of Blood. Doesn't sound like much work. I'm in bad shape. It sure felt like hard work.